Hello and welcome to Book Corner, the show that brings you the most up-to-date news and events concerning books around the world. Today is an especially important show because we are going to be looking at how World Book Day was celebrated in Portsmouth on Thursday 4th of March 2010. Coming up on the show, we'll be asking the public their opinions of the effectiveness of World Book Day, delving into the day's history, looking at the future of books, and my interview with a special guest author in the studio. But first, over to Paige with the news and events from this year's World Book Day.
Thanks, Tim. There's a lot of buzz in the air and the bookworms are chomping at the book bit. Lots of people have been getting involved with the celebration this year, including some literary celebrities. Kate Moss launched the day with a public reading of her new book, The Cave at St James's Hospital, which was an enthusiastic kickstart to the day. Joining her on the celebrity reading front was Victor Richards, who read his extracts from his poetry book, Streets Paved with Gold, at the Portsmouth City Library. Richards is well known for his previous works, Return to the Caribbean and Children of the First Generation, and he was signing copies afterwards. Speaking of public reading, one of the freshest events to come from World Book Day was the Read to a Million Kids scheme, where authors and performers read their books online to raise literary awareness. There's a genre for every child's taste, including works such as Young Samurai, The Way of Fire by Chris Bradford, Magic Ballerina, The Magic Dance by Darcy Bustle, and Jamie Johnson, Born to Play by Dan Friedman. All these videos are available to stream from the World Book Day website, www.worldbookday.com, and if you'd like to show your support further, the books are available for just £1 from all good book retailers. However, most importantly on today's news, how did Portsmouth celebrate the day? Did you notice anything going on around the city? Well, a lot of local schools have been getting involved in various ways. Portsmouth High School decided to go down the fancy dress route, encouraging the students to come to school dressed as their favourite fictional characters. Why not email us at wbd@colemangetty.co.uk and tell us events you got involved in on World Book Day. That's all from News Day, and thank you, and back to you, Tim.
Next up, we have investigating into the history of World Book Day to give all you viewers at home some information about where it all started and how World Book Day is celebrated today. Hope you enjoyed the film.
World Book Day was created by the humanitarian and cultural organisation UNESCO in 1995. Its aim was to be the worldwide celebration of books and writing. The origin of the day which we celebrate comes from a tradition which was started 80 years ago in Catalonia, where books and roses were given as gifts to loved ones on St George's Day. Globally, this day is known as World Book Day and Copyright Day and is celebrated on the 23rd of April every year. However, in the UK and Ireland it is held on a different day due to the international date being during Easter holidays. The main aim of the day is to encourage children to enjoy reading and to undertake book-related activities such as readathons, dress-up days and writing short stories. It was introduced to the UK by Prime Minister at the time, Tony Blair, in 1998. World Book Day is organised and coordinated by the World Book Day Limited charity. National Book Tokens Limited have teamed up with several bookshops around the UK to create £1 book tokens. The voucher can be used to buy one of the 6 specific £1 books which have been published for World Book Day, or can be put towards any book or audiobook in the participating bookshops. World Book Day was created not just to celebrate books and reading, it is also aimed to recognise the great writers in literature. Here in Portsmouth we're lucky to have such a rich literary history, with writers such as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle being attracted to the port. Conan Doyle came to Portsmouth with £10 to his name and set up what was a GP surgery at what is now Bush House on Elm Grove. It's here that he wrote his famous detective novel Sherlock Holmes. The history extends to Nobel laureate and writer of The Jungle Book, Rudyard Kipling, having lived on Campbell Road as a boy. But Portsmouth's most famous writer of all must be Charles Dickens, whose birthplace has now been carefully restored and preserved. The house now acts as a museum of Dickens's life and features not only a faithfully restored version of the bed on which Dickens would have been born, but also the actual couch on which he died is also on display. For more information on the bookshops involved and World Book Day in general, visit www.worldbookday.com.
Well now, wasn't that an excellent insight into the background of World Book Day? I find it amazing it is celebrated on a different day in this country to where it originated in Spain.
Next up, we asked the public around Guildhall Square in Portsmouth what they think about World Book Day.
Thanks, Tim. We're here in Guildhall Square to find out what the public think about World Book Day. So, have you heard about World Book Day?
I have, yes.
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Briefly, kind of.
I have at school when you have like book days and tokens and things like that, but that's about it really.
I think it's on the calendar I've got at home.
No, I haven't heard of World Book Day.
Did when I was younger. I've heard of it, I don't really know much about it.
Did you do anything to celebrate it?
I went in a bookshop, but I don't think I brought any books. I got given a £1 voucher.
I don't think there's really, well, when you're younger you get like this £1 book day thing where you get like £1 off a book, and there's no real kind of advertising for it anymore, and I think at the age you are now kind of thing you don't really have time to read books, which is a shame because I used to love reading books.
I didn't at the moment. I wasn't too sure when it was on. I'd seen it in the media, but I wasn't too sure of dates and that.
I didn't personally do anything, but I know that my son used to get a token for books at the schools.
We didn't this year, but we have in previous years.
What's your favourite all-time book?
Probably The Hungry Caterpillar.
I quite like The Chase by Clive Cussler.
The best book I've ever read was an unauthorised autobiography of Frank Sinatra.
Probably one by Bill Bryson.
Well, at the moment I'm reading Freakonomics, which I'm enjoying quite a lot.
Probably The Great Gatsby.
And do you think that in the future books might actually be eradicated because of e-books and bookshops closing down?
I tried out like the Kindle and stuff, but the LCD screen kind of hurt my eyes. I think I prefer paper.
I say so, yeah, because I mean you can download books onto the iPad or whatever it's called now and things like that, so yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely, because where you've got more media available nowadays, so you've got the internet, it's really accessible. So whereas a couple of years ago you wouldn't have that option, with books would be your only other option, so nowadays it's limited.
Yeah, I don't think books will ever like go out of fashion because everyone likes to sit with a book every now and then. So
E-book's still literature, even if it's not on paper. So
I think I'll probably carry on and just get a bit more technology.
I don't think the e-books will make much difference. I think they'll still be there, but it'll still be on paper because there's nothing like actually having the book there and reading it yourself.
Well, that's all for me today. Back to you in the studio.
Now that we have heard from the public, we have a short reading of Don't Ask Jack by Neil Gaiman, read by Lewis Belcher, an inspiring story as part of the Smoke and Mirrors collection. Hope you enjoy.
Don't Ask Jack by Neil Gaiman. Nobody knew where the toy had come from, which great-grandparent or distant aunt had owned it before it was given to the nursery. It was a box, carved and painted in golden red. It was undoubtedly attractive and, or so the grown-ups maintained, quite valuable, perhaps even an antique. The latch, unfortunately, was rusted shut, and the key had been lost so that Jack could not be released from his box. Still, it was a remarkable box, heavy and carved and gilt. The children did not play with it. It sat at the bottom of the old wooden toy box, which was the same size and age as a pirate's treasure chest, or so the children thought. The Jack in the box was buried beneath dolls and trains, clowns and paper stars and old conjuring tricks, and crippled marionettes with their strings irrevocably tangled, with dressing-up clothes, here the tatters of a long-ago wedding dress, there a black silk hat, crusted with age and time, and costume jewellery, broken hoops, and tops and hobby horses. Under them all was Jack's box. The children did not play with it. They whispered among themselves, alone in the attic nursery. On grey days when the wind howled and the house and rain rattled the slates and pattered down the eaves, they told each other stories about Jack, although they had never seen him. One claimed that Jack was an evil wizard, placed in the box as a punishment for crimes too awful to describe. Another, I'm certain that it must have been one of the girls, maintained that Jack's box was Pandora's box, and he had been placed in the box as a guardian to prevent the bad things inside it from coming out once more. They would not even touch the box, if they could help it, although when, as happened from time to time, an adult would comment on the absence of that sweet old Jack in the box, and retrieve it from the chest and place it in a position of honour on the mantelpiece, then the children would pluck up the courage, and later hide it away once more in the darkness. The children did not play with the Jack in the box, and when they grew up and left the great house, the attic nursery was closed up and almost forgotten. Almost, but not entirely. For each of the children, separately, remembered walking alone in the moon's blue light, on his or her own bare feet, up to the nursery. It was almost like sleepwalking, feet soundless on the wood of the stairs, on the threadbare nursery carpet. Remembered opening the treasure chest, pouring through the dolls and the clothes, and pulling out the box. And then the child would touch the catch, and the lid would open, slow as a sunset, and the music would begin to play, and Jack came out. Not with a pop and a bounce, he was no spring-heeled Jack. But deliberately, intently, he would rise from the box and motion to the child to come closer, closer, and smile. And there in the moonlight, he told them each things they could never quite remember, things they were never able entirely to forget. The oldest boy died in the Great War. The youngest, after their parents died, inherited the house, although it was taken from him when he was found in the cellar one night with cloths and paraffin and matches, trying to burn the great house to the ground. They took him to the madhouse, and perhaps he's still there. The other children, who had once been girls and now were women, declined, each and every one, to return to the house in which they had grown up, and the windows of the house were boarded up, and the doors were all locked with huge iron keys, and the sisters visited it as often as they visited their eldest brother's grave, or the sad thing that had once been their younger brother, which is to say, never. Years have passed and the girls are old women, and owls and bats have made their homes in their old attic nursery. Rats build their nests among the forgotten toys. The creatures gaze uncuriously at the faded prints on the wall, and stain the remnants of the carpet with their droppings. And deep within the box, Jack waits and smiles, holding his secrets. He is waiting for the children. He can wait forever.
Neil Gaiman is a great author of short stories, and is better known for his production of the film Stardust. The story, Don't Ask Jack, is available to buy from most local bookshops as a short story collection called Smoke and Mirrors. Make sure to pick up a copy because the other stories are just as great as that one.
We are going to a short ad break now, but make sure you stay where you are because we have lots of exciting things coming up on the show, including an interview with author Colin White. Don't go away.